you, Sarah, and thank you, Julius and Chris, for joining me today. So I'm Booth Kyle. I'm the head of school, and I'm joined today by Julius Smith. He's a board member and the chair of our advancement committee, and Chris Mannix, our board of trustees chair. Both are alums. Julius is class of 09, Chris 91, and really glad you guys are here to help me present this information today. So this is a fun PreK conversation. We're going to get to talk about our future, and we've put a lot of work and thought into this campus unification effort, as many of you know. As we share the information today, we will try to keep it relatively general. Some folks who have been a part of the community for a couple of years know probably a lot about what has happened up till now, and others who are new are just learning about the unification effort. So we'll do our best to sort of to get the information at a level that everyone can comprehend. And of course, there's going to be follow-up meetings and pieces of our website that are going to be able to talk about our unification effort, et cetera. So we're looking forward to more and more conversation after today. So before we dive into the unification piece, just a quick note about school. It's Spirit Week. Today is Maine Day. I had good excuse to wear my flannel shirt and my Boston Red Sox hat, actually. There's a lot of Red Sox fans in Maine, so I had that excuse earlier today. But it's been a fun week, and we're kind of for those students that are on campus and doing on-campus instruction. I'd say that on both campuses we're kind of hitting our stride a little bit and getting more comfortable with the new schedule and of course the protocols and procedures we have in place. And today at the upper school, I was out around lunchtime, and it was a beautiful day, and kids were throwing footballs and frisbees and having a good time, and it was just really nice to see that. It felt just a little bit more like school, and that's a good thing. So lots of activity down at our tennis courts on the upper school campus. The Eagle Dome project progresses, and looks like it'll be up in a couple weeks, and we're aiming to have kind of a grand opening of sorts in mid-November. So more to come on that, but that's really exciting to watch that progress. We're also doing a lot of work in our auditorium right now to enhance the lighting and potentially upgrade some parts of the stage too. So it's nice that we have that opportunity right now when particularly the auditorium is empty to really get it reinforced and to make it truly great for all of our pre-K through 12 students next year. And lastly, as a segue to the unification part, when I interviewed for the job here a couple years back, I was really intrigued about the unification effort, and honestly, it's the main reason why I'm here. So I'm really excited to unveil this updated plan. And I didn't bargain on COVID, honestly, at that time, so it's a little bit more than I bargained for. But the fact of the matter is, we have a really good plan. We're on target to be unified next fall, and as I've already said, we're really excited to share it with you today. So at this point, I'm going to pass it off to Chris, and he's going to take us through the next part of the presentation.
Well, great. Thank you, Booth. On behalf of the board, thank you so much for everything you've done since you've arrived at Indian Creek. We couldn't be happier with how you've settled into our school and our community. You've worked on a variety of initiatives so far, and then the unexpected curveball have taken on the challenges with COVID. And so from my family and all the others gathered here, thank you for what you've done for us here. You and your team have been exceptional. I'd like to kind of level set the timeline of what we've been working under, going back to 2014. In 2014, the board authorized a facilities assessment, and it was really to get a grip on what our facilities look like, what's the infrastructure look like, what are the ages of these systems, when systems would come up for repair. And the findings on that were pretty dramatic. They basically indicated that we need to get to one campus. The cost of operating two campuses would eventually crush us, and more importantly, would drive up tuition to the point that it would be unaffordable for a lot of our families. So in 2015, the board adopted a strategic plan to unify all of our programs on the Crownsville campus. It was a very exciting mark in the school's history. And we dove right in. In 2016, we invested in the Crownsville campus's athletic complex from significant help from donors. In 2017, we moved and shifted the 7th and 8th grade programs to the Crownsville campus. We then worked to position the Evergreen campus for sale. And in 2019, we sold the Evergreen campus with a 3-year rent back option to Rockbridge Academy. Rockbridge has been a wonderful partner. I'm very proud of a couple of things there, but one is that we have enabled Rockbridge to move to one campus just as much as they have enabled us to move to one campus. And that's a great story for private education in Anne Arundel County. It's been a wonderful partnership. But you know, it's time to move, and it's time to get to our one campus. I'm very proud to announce today that you know, the board committee on building and grounds, in conjunction with Booth and his team, have received approval from the board of trustees to do a number of things. One is to renovate the existing Crownsville building. 2, add an addition. 3, build 3 outdoor play spaces. And 4, complete Eagle Dome. This is hugely exciting. A ton of work by many people, from banking and finance to zoning and permit planning, architectural, and people like you who contributed to our community engagement events and provided feedback on what you would like to see in one campus. But you know, most importantly is moving all these programs and completing this by this coming fall 2021. So it's great to say we're going to do it, but we're doing it now. Like this starts now. We are going to open on one campus this coming fall. This is basically a year ahead of the allotted rent back contingency that we had set up with Rockbridge. But it's important that we get all of our programs onto one campus sooner than later, and for a couple of reasons. It's very exciting to think about the benefits to our students and our faculty, both programmatically by having everyone on one campus, the faculty collaboration, the professional development we can do, the cross grade grade level joint activities we can do. We can only do that when we get to one campus, and it's coming fast. And I'm really excited about the work that we've put together to get to this point. You know, Julius, you had remarked at the faculty, announcement of this the other day so well, and I'd love to hear your insights on this too.
Chris, I'm really happy that you walked everyone through the timeline of how we've got to here, because it's been a long process to get to this point. I've been on the board for 6 years, and it's it feels like we've been talking about this for so long, and we're now finally taking some steps. And like you said, we're going to be taking these steps quickly. One of the biggest things that I'm most excited about with this plan is that it's going to come back into the community with improvements indirectly. So what we're going to see is not just a change in the bricks and mortars of the building, of the project. What we're going to see is impacts to program, an improvement in professional development for our teachers so that they feel empowered in the classroom and prepared. Education has really evolved, and I think we all have learned it during this crazy time during this pandemic. But I want you to know when we're presenting this information, our mission hasn't changed. What Indian Creek, the things that you love about Indian Creek haven't changed. Our goal has always been with this campaign is about unifying on one campus, solidifying our financial underpinnings, and continuing to provide an outstanding and personalized experience. And I think the wonderful thing about that is that we are going to get there faster with this new plan. And that's what I'm really excited about, because I can't wait to see everyone on one campus. It's going to be a better version of what we saw on, I think, the Evergreen campus, with more students of varying ages, with more collaborative experiences for both our students and our teachers. This is going to be a second home for so many people. I also just want to take one moment to kind of acknowledge the passing of our founder, Ann Chambers. I was a student I was part of the second graduation class of the new upper school when I was there. It was the new upper school. It's been around a while, and the students who are there are really incredible. They are leaps and bounds better than I ever was when I was a student. But I've had some time to reflect about the memory of Ann Chambers and what she created. Education doesn't stop from pre-K, the 5th grade, pre-K, the 6th grade. It goes even beyond high school years. And I think one of the biggest drivers about being on one campus was that we're going to be able to cultivate that experience for each student, to be personalized, and to help people become the best persons they can be. Ann Chambers was wonderful at doing that, and I think she's inspired this community to keep doing that. And I want you to keep that in the back of your mind when we're sharing this plan, because I think it really speaks to the heart of our mission that she set out to be. And I'm so grateful, and excitement doesn't begin to describe how much joy I have to be sharing this. So without further ado, Booth, I think you're up and you want to start sharing with people.
Great. Yeah, if we could switch back to that overhead view, that would be great. We'll talk a little bit about the building and what we're planning. Thank you both for those really nice comments. And particularly Julius, your comments about Ann. I think a lot about the kind of educator she was, and I think anyone who is an educator aspires to be like she was. Yeah. And she really cared about people. And yeah, and there you go. And so and here we are, and we've got a chance to really do that well, I think, with this new plan. So for those of you who are a little newer to the community, pre-COVID, our plan for building was to build a distinct lower school facility that was going to almost connect to the building you're looking at in kind of like an L shape. But COVID has thrown zillions of curveballs at us, as we know. But in part of trying to hit those curveballs, we've realized that we can do this project in a different way. So I'm going to walk through the building here a little bit and speak generally about some changes, and then pass it off to Chris, who's going to talk a little bit about this concept of neighborhoods for the different age groups. Okay, so starting at the left side of the building, one big upgrade we're going to engage in is making the atrium into a kind of a proper student center for our high school students. For those of you who have been around a while, you know it's kind of served that way, kind of a de facto student center for particularly older kids, 11th to 12th graders quite often. But we want to put more furniture in there, make it a really comfortable spot for kids to hang out. And when we have performances in the auditorium, it'll be a great sort of lobby, lounge area to host people at the beginning of shows, at intermission, and afterwards. So that'll be a really important upgrade, particularly for our high schoolers. So moving down the building a little bit, if you're familiar with the upper school right now, there are arts classrooms in that left corner where the cursor is right now. Those are going to be moved to the loft area, so up above the main entrance right there. And they're going to be very spacious classrooms. One of the real adds there is that there's a ton of natural light that will stream into those art studios. And it'll be completely renovated. There'll be new sinks and new kiln and everything we want our arts facilities to have. But that'll be brand new and awesome, and really just a great place, not only for high schoolers, but we envision for all kids at our school. So another really important add, and we're going to be sharing more about this in the coming weeks, but we would like to reconstitute a middle grades program and have 6th, 7th, and 8th graders housed in the same area of the school. And the place that we have targeted is the second floor where the cursor is. There's a line of classrooms right there that are actually very large and spacious and well lit as well. and we think will be a great hub for our 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. The nice thing about that location for the middle school students, so it's right next to the art center, so easy access to that, obviously. But down the hall, past the art center, is the science wing. And again, they'll have very simple, easy access to that part of the facility and their curriculum. So really nice spot for our middle grades kids. And as I said, we're going to share more information about that, about how that part of school will be led, et cetera, in the coming weeks. So really now moving kind of all the way down to the right side of the building where you can see the addition. It's a pretty sizable addition. It's about 12,000 square feet. The second floor of the addition will be what we're referring to as an academic resource center and learning lab. It's kind of a new generation library, let's call it. The really exciting part about it is the second floor academic resource center is triple the size of our current library, and will be a facility that's going to be able to house sort of enrichment, resource research, academic support, all of that, and for all of our 6th through 12th grade students. So if you go downstairs to the first floor of the addition, there'll be another version of that for pre-K 5. They'll have their own academic resource center, library, learning lab, which is square footage the equivalent of our current library. So lots of space, and linked, of course, to the facility upstairs. So I think the faculty that are revolving in that learning lab, academic support space are going to be acting a lot more like a team, across the pre-K through 12 spectrum, which I think is just awesome. Be really great for our kids' development. Also on that first floor addition, we will have an addition to the cafeteria. And in that, we will literally double the size of the eating space we have now. We'll have to do some scheduling coordination to get all of our students through there, but we totally can do that. We will be re-engaging with Sage Dining Services, the service that so many of us love so much, and we're actually anticipating some enhancements to that service as well. So all that will be back. And again, I think that the focus of that addition part is very much on community space that will drive the academic program for all of our students. And of course, the additional cafeteria space will just be a nice place to either hang out, maybe before or after school, maybe do some work during the day if a student wants to grab a late breakfast and has a free period kind of thing, and just be a great spot to be. So. I think, Chris, that's probably a good overview of the kind of the tweaks in the building. Do you want to talk about the neighborhood concept a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Booth. When we were going through our community engagement sessions, looking at work that was done at other peer schools all across America, in speaking to our faculty and really just trying to get at what's the heart of Indian Creek, this concept of neighborhoods came up. And neighborhoods are great because they give you a connection point to your fellow student peers, and neighborhoods can have a grade up or down in age from you. And as you're going through our overall program, you can be excited about the next neighborhood you're going to join, and proud of your accomplishments that you made at the neighborhood that you're leaving. Along with the neighborhoods is kind of how you come in and out of the building when you start your day and get your routine down. And routine is very, very important. I'm going to start from the early childhood end of things, and then we can just kind of walk through. So just like in front of the school right now, there is actually a drop-off area on the side of the school, the atrium side, and there is a set of double doors that will be the early childhood entrance spot. That way we can get the little ones right out of their car, get them right in there. I have a pre-K 3 son myself, and the challenges of getting him into the school I get firsthand, and we want to make that a smooth process. But that wing over there will have a collaborative space. The classrooms will have the little potties and the little sinks, and they'll have access to the brand new tot lot that will be right outside there. And we'll talk more about that as we keep going. Further down is the the main entrance that you know, and that's where our 1st through 8th graders would be dropped off. And as you would come in that main entrance, we're going to have an enhanced security set up there to accommodate vendors and all the things that we should be doing well to secure our campus. But picture yourself as being a 1st grader. You're going to come in, you're going to go to the left. If you're a 3rd, 4th, 5th grader, you're going to come in, you're going to go to the right. And if you're a middle schooler or middle grades student, you're going to go up those stairs right there, and you're going to turn to the left, going towards the left-hand side of the building there. So we've looked at this in terms of our current scheduling, and all this is compatible. It all works. So we'll talk more of those details when we're getting into that level there. For the high school experience, we want to make sure that has its own wow. And Booth commented the enhancements to the atrium. The atrium is like a student union you could see at a college campus. It's the high vaulted ceilings. New furniture will be added there. It's going to be a great hub for the high school age groups. So they'll come in that atrium, and their parking situation will be off on that side right there. So we kind of keep everything neat and tidy with all of them. One of the things that we didn't talk about earlier is our new STEAM center. Some of you know it as the satellite lunchroom, but it's that room that's tile and glass right outside of the library. We're going to further enhance that room, and that is, a little bit like a maker space for some people who think in those terms, but it's a place that the faculty can get hands-on with messy things with students, and that's going to be a fun spot right there. You can see the walkway that goes into that side of the building has a covered piece there. That's going to be another kind of fun hub for our families and students as well. On the outdoor play space, and we heard this loud and clear. We know Indian Creek is about structured play time, and we wanted to make sure that the play facilities were as top notch as we could possibly pull together. So we have some renderings here. We have established several playground committees. We have 3 playground spaces, and each one has committees that are working on the fit out of those, the parts and pieces, the actual equipment, what's in, what's out. So this is just a rendering of it, but for the tot lot area, doors that would lead out to the space, fenced in space. With the little ones, there's some code requirements for how that is put together and secured. The surface that they are playing on, the equipment is going to be age appropriate. There's a lot of, like I said, compliance things that we have to do. But that whole area there is going to be a lot of fun. They can easily take the students in and out of the classroom if they just need to burn off some energy. It's just going to be very similar to what you have at Evergreen, where you have the tot lot right off of the classrooms. The next play space, I'm going to call it the big kid playground, but it's when you're not on the tot lot and you're not in essentially middle school. This is the space that's in front of the visitor parking. It's in this grass area that's right outside the main entrance where the flagpole is. We're going to put a pretty cool fence down Ann Chambers Way and parallel to the drop-off area. So we have a very formal crossing area, so we don't have people running into the traffic and road. But we're trying to do this in a very natural way. The rendering here doesn't reflect all the trees that are actually there right now, but there are some great trees there. And this kind of butts up against the berm that starts leading you up to the barn area. So the couple playground equipment folks that we've talked to, and we're even speaking with some people who know how to do natural play spaces, big boulders and things like that, are very excited about this spot. And I can see this as being a great place to stretch your legs before you go back into the classroom. Down towards the athletic complex, we're going to rededicate a space for David's Court. David's Court is very special to us at the Indian Creek Evergreen campus, and we wanted to bring it over here essentially transplanting it the best we could. Picture, basketball court with seating, some benches around. This would be the kind of shake it off space that the middle school group would use, and I think that's going to really answer a need that we haven't been able to answer for the 7th and 8th graders who are currently on that campus. This will give them back their David's Court space. And not to mention that you have the entire athletic complexes, two stitched together turf fields, and soon we're going to inflate Eagle Dome. Eagle Dome is a 10,000 square foot heated and cooled gym space. It can be used for tennis, volleyball, field hockey, anything that you want to play, either heated, cooled, or dry. We can do in that space, and that'll be another option for recess activities or times where we just need to spread people out, like when we're in this COVID area. I want to try to turn this back over to Booth, but the crown jewel, I think, in all of this is going to be our new outdoor community center piece. And I'll let Booth dive into this one.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited about this too, Chris. And for everybody, just want to frame, maybe like punctuate that neighborhood concept. And if you have a younger student, if you have a pre-KK elementary grade student right now, what you should know is that entire front wing of the school is completely renovated. First floor is completely renovated. All the classrooms are brand new, and all pre-K through 5 students will be on that long hallway. And the way that the building is designed already is that it's going to be its own sort of self-contained wing. You can shut the doors to the other parts of the school, and it's really it's very secure. You don't. I guess I'm saying this because you won't have a random 17-year-old walking through the hallway. They'll be upstairs in their part of the building. So I just wanted to frame that for those of you with younger children. Okay, so the outdoor space, here we go. Those of you who are familiar with the current setup know that we have a terrace currently, and what we're showing here is the new addition, which basically comes out over the new terrace, and we're going to have a new patio that extends closer towards Ann Chambers Way. My favorite memory of ICS remains last fall's I think it was Creek Connections and Cocktails event, and it was sort of it was an early fall event, and I was new last year, so I was nervous, and it was sort of my first moment to speak to the community. But I'll always remember it because of how community oriented it was. And I always had this thought in my mind that this sort of feels like the front yard of the school. And that scene last fall looks nothing like what we're looking at right now, but I think what we're looking at right now is way better, and we're gonna be able to do much more of those style of events and be together out here on this lawn overlooking our athletic complex. Honestly, it'll probably be a great place to watch a soccer game or a baseball game. It's like sitting in the stands at a major league park to a degree. We envision having concessions running out of here potentially, and just having it be a real hub. So I'm happy to think about this as something that really unites us, and I think that's exactly what it is. So I guess that's it for the facility, and Julius, I think you're going to help wrap this up a little bit.
Yep. I have to tell you, so again, it's not just about brick and mortars. This goes beyond that. I'm so excited that we have the ability to renovate the interior of our building so that we can accommodate our school as it is now. We can keep our teachers, we can keep our students. That won't change. And what that also does is, because we're not building a new building, we're minimizing costs and we're minimizing debt to the school. And how's that going to come back on us? How it's going to improve is program improvements. So we're going to have more money for those professional developments I talked about earlier for our educators. My entire time on the board for about 6 years, educators have been coming to us asking for the resources to enhance learning within the classroom, everything from trips to opportunities for students that go outside of our building and off campus, to resources that can be implemented and reconfigured in a classroom to help improve how students learn now. Because that was one of the theories that Ann Chambers had when she started this school, is that children, as they grow, children learn differently, and you always have to keep on staying ahead of the curve and learning how to teach at their level. And I'm so excited to have more resources now towards that. Now, as Chris Mannix had said earlier, Ann Booth, August 2021 is our target goal to be there. The great thing is it's not going to interrupt the construction process, won't interfere with student learning. That was a big concern of ours, is that we want to keep the student experience intact because we're trying to improve it. Because that's such a close date, it's going to require a big effort from the entire community to get there. And how that happens is we've been in the middle of a campaign right now, and we've been raising dollars with some big name donors, people who've had a serious interest and couldn't wait to give. In order for this to happen, in order to make all these wonderful changes, not just physically, but with program, we're going to need everyone's maximum support on this. We want people to feel empowered in the community, to have pride in their community. And fortunately, we've worked out with the Finance Committee on the Board of Trustees a way for people to make pledges over multiple years, anywhere from 3 to 5 years, towards this community. So your dollars aren't just going to be going to this new addition or the configuration of the interior. It's also going to be going to teachers. It's going to be going to programs. And that's what I'm really excited about. So I'm asking you, before we kind of turn it over to Q&A, I want to charge you with thinking about your experience in Indian Creek. For me and my family, it was life-changing in so many ways. I became a better person. My sister, who was a little bit younger than me, became a much better person. And for our family, it was about not just her and I being in that community, but also for my parents to be part of that community. And we were 100% on board. And that was a family conversation. And it wasn't just about finances. It was about being involved in every activity that we could be. And they were there. They were there financially, and they were there physically, and part of that. And so that's what I'm asking and charging you with, is I want you to go back to your families as a group and talk about this. And if you have questions, please reach out to us. I think we're going to answer some questions right after I finish talking. But I want you to reflect on your Indian Creek experience, because I think you'll realize that there is so much that brought you to this community. And we hope that you're willing to come back to us with showing that passion, because I think what it's going to yield, it's going to be in every corner of this community. It's not just going to be the lower school moving up to the upper school campus. This is about our community coming together and being better together. And that's what I'm most excited about. So with that, I think we're going into a Q&A, so I'll stop talking.
Thanks, Julius. And Sarah, we're ready for you. Julius, I love your comments about the family piece. And, you know, so believe it or not, it extends to heads of school too. My parents read the newsletters. Yeah. And my dad is a really curious guy, so he always asks me a lot of tough questions. So it actually preps me for these events we have too. So, but anyway, really good comments, Julius and Chris. Thank you very much. All right, Sarah.
All right, we have about 10 minutes for questions. Sometimes similar questions are asked, so I will pull together similar questions so that we don't repeat questions. I just wanted to start out with a comment from a parent to our panelists. And she said, I just wanted to commend the entire team for this innovative idea. ICS has come together in one of the most difficult times in education. Thank you. So here is our first question. And this is a question that was asked frequently. How do you envision class sizes and student to teacher ratios changing with the new combined school? Will the changes facilitate expansion of student numbers across all grades? So there were numerous questions about class size and student to teacher ratio moving forward.
Okay, I'll tackle that one, guys. So we don't have immediate plans for expansion. So a few years back, the sort of target number for an elementary grade classroom was about 20, and we're a little over that right now in some of our elementary grades, and we're ready to roll with that. We're not gonna downsize them or anything, but 20 feels right for the elementary grades right now, and what we've designed can easily accommodate that. When I think about enrollment at the school right now, the areas where it could be bolstered a little bit are the sort of the middle school years, grades 6 through 8. I think that's where we could see some growth. I am optimistic that by refashioning the middle grades as I described, it gives us an opportunity to promote middle school entry in a way that we haven't been able to the last several years. So I think that we can be optimistic about seeing some growth there. If you're familiar with the high school numbers, we have a small senior class, but the freshman and sophomore and junior classes all have over 60 students, and that's a level we'd like to be at for all of our high school grades. So with all that said, I think over the next couple of years, if we do it right, we're going to see some modest enrollment growth through middle and maybe high school, but elementary would stay pretty flat. And if we have more students, we'll hire more teachers. That's just kind of how it works.
I might also say, you communicated this with the faculty, that in this plan, we've already made our, we'll say, staffing changes when we went to one section for the elementary grades. Are you anticipating many more staffing changes with this move?
No, we're not. There's no, one way to say it, there's no layoffs planned. There's always adjustments to roles and stuff, but we're not in bad shape. We're really fortunate that we can proceed as we are. So that's good.
There were a few questions about traffic. So one question specifically is, do you anticipate any changes that will be needed to the traffic flow in and out of campus to accommodate the influx of additional students?
I think we're keeping the road in its configuration it is right now, which is one way around the building. That does seem to be the safest way to bring the traffic through. It does give us the maximum amount of queuing space for drop off. But really, the scheduling for the openings of each one of these grade levels is going to be planned so that we don't have a mass influx or a mass exodus every morning or afternoon. We're going to be smart about that.
Yeah, and I'll just add that Chris talked a little bit about the entry points for the different age levels, and we think the early childhood kiddos will come in on the corner down by their playground. That makes a lot of sense. We could extend that to first or second grade too. We'll do its best. And then I think you all know that the upper school campus starts later than the Evergreen campus right now, and we think we're going to keep the same kind of start times, so it'll distribute the traffic across the course of an hour basically. And we will revive the sort of early arrival and late stay programs we had for middle school students. So if there's a middle school sibling that needs to come early because their younger brother or sister got here at 8 o'clock, we'll totally accommodate that.
The next question is there an opportunity to create community spaces like student gardens, student recycling centers, or an outdoor theater?
So I will jump in on this one. That's one of the great things about this plan. If you look at the previous plan, being a whole separate building, you end up duplicating space. You have double the hallway space. You have 2 cafeterias, 2 gymnasiums, and we thought that it would be more responsible to try to save some of those resources for some programs like this. So if there is a student interest for a community garden that have a hands-on environmental approach within sciences, that we're able to roll it out immediately. We don't have to go out and fundraise for it. This plan is going to be able to accommodate those things as students want to learn. And that's something that this school has never really had before. We've had smaller versions of it, but the ability to be really cost effective in certain areas, so we're still able to accommodate everyone under one roof, but now we're also going to be able to maximize our program and how we want to learn. And I really hope that we get to, I'm looking forward to seeing what students want to do in these new spaces, because everyone's getting a new space, and their minds are going to start cooking up ideas, and we want to be able to have the resources to give them to run with those ideas, because that's where they're going to learn. So yes, totally, we're expecting those kinds of things to happen.
There's been a lot of chatter about outdoor stuff like that. I'm really happy about that. If we can gain some momentum as a community to develop the campus that way. One of our facilities employees pulled me aside the other day and showed me where there used to be a vegetable garden that he wants to revive. So I think there'll be a ton of opportunities like that. You guys know this campus is beautiful. It's really, the outdoors is really underutilized in many ways. So I think we got a ton of opportunities there.
Great. The next question is, please elaborate more on how the renovation will benefit our 9th through 12th graders. Just wanting more clarification of how the improvements will benefit that age group.
Cool. Yeah, I'll take another crack at that and provide any backup for me, Chris and Julius. But yeah, the 9th through 12th graders aren't losing anything actually. It might seem like that because of the arrival of the younger students, but the parts of the hallway that the pre-K through 5 students will be on, that upper school students use right now, are the arts classrooms and the library. And I think, as you guys know, they're going upstairs, and they're going to be actually larger spaces. So that's an addition for the high schoolers. The revamp of the atrium will be significant, and we really want to fashion that as a place for high schoolers specifically, kind of as a student center. And then again, the cafeteria doubling in size, and the resource center upstairs, which is so sizable, it'll literally be a place that kids just want to be. And that's a significant upgrade for them too. So, and then finally, by organizing the middle grades students together, I think it's going to have the effect of making the upper schools, the high school students, think like they've got more of their own turf, and not sort of quote unquote sharing it with middle school students. Right now, they're kind of mixed together.
I would just add that as the upper school building sits now in its present configuration, the utility of use rating for the school is not very good. So we have extra large hallways, classrooms that sometimes don't get used. We're not using every advantage of this building. And I think when we go through this renovation process, we're going to be defining those spaces more. We're going to be taking a better advantage of that without compromising the experience. That was a big goal, I know, for B&G, was that we didn't want to compromise that student experience because of physical or financial limitations. And so I think for the upper school, that upper space and the new addition that's going to be built off the patio, that their school is going to feel bigger, in my opinion. I think it's going to be this transformative experience.
Yeah, and I wouldn't undersell the impacts of the learning lab. I would not undersell the impacts that we've made to athletics and athletic facilities. We have the best athletic facilities, and we're continuing to add to that. And then in the performing arts, we're doing a revamping and renovation to the auditorium, mainly in the production quality tools that they have there, upgrades to the lighting system and some other things. And that's really, I'm very excited about the lighting system upgrade. It's actually going to bring the audience into the kind of on stage, because they're going to be able to do things with the lighting above the audience that will pull you into a twilight, spooky scene or what have you. So there's some pretty cool things that are coming for the performing arts.
Awesome. We are out of time. I know there are many, many, many questions that we did not get to. They save with the webinar, so the team can reach out for questions we didn't get to. Booth, there is one more question that I think is a great way to end. Talk about the bell and the bell tower and that tradition.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. Darn it. I wish, oh man, we should have said that. Yeah, so the plan is, Chris mentioned, I think, bringing, rededicating David's Court on the upper school campus, and that'll be really, a really important moment for the school. Mira's Bench is another important kind of icon from the Evergreen campus that we will bring over. And the bell from the bell tower is something we want to bring over too. And the plan right now is to integrate the bell into the patio area and build some kind of, we're envisioning some kind of monument of sorts. That maybe monument is too big a word, but something connected to the patio where the bell has a prominence, and the significance of its symbolism will be appreciated by all. So that's a really important question, and I'm glad someone asked that.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
So if I know we did not get to many questions, but like I said, we will save them, and the team will be able to access them after the webinar. Thank you so
And
much.
thanks for asking so many questions. We can probably develop a sort of frequently asked questions piece for our website, and we'll use what you contributed today as a source of that. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.